Welcome to Flipping Your Classroom. In today's presentation, we'll talk about the tools and steps that are needed to accomplish a classroom flip. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Victor Villegas and I'm a 5th grade bilingual teacher in North Texas. I've been teaching for 3 years and I have a huge passion for technology, which is what prompted me to start a classroom flip and integrate technology into my classroom. I flipped my classroom in the 2012-2013 school year, and I was inspired to do this after watching a segment on 60 Minutes that focused on the Khan Academy. After watching this segment, I went out to the Khan Academy and looked at the videos that were available, but what I discovered was that there wasn't really a lot of information that was available to elementary students. So I thought about how I could take the same concept but apply it to my classroom. Additionally, because I'm a bilingual teacher, there were some weeks where I had to teach classes in complete Spanish, so a lot of the material that I needed was not available on Khan Academy. So I created something on my own. Now I did have some limitations to my classroom flip approach. My students didn't have computer access at home, or they lacked internet availability at home. So I had to come up with a way that would allow me to still incorporate the concept of a flipped classroom, but use it while my students were still in class. And here's what I came up with. At the end of the presentation, I'll show you how the flipped classroom works in my class. The tools that you'll need to start flipping your classroom are listed below. You're going to need a centralized repository for lessons, videos, and any links that you want to share with your students. You're also going to need to find screencasting software to help record videos for your lessons. You'll want a microphone, and although it's not needed, I do recommend you get a tablet of some kind, whether that be an iPad to draw and manipulate on your screen, or a Wacom tablet that lets you draw completely on your computer screen. Now, the centralized repository is just a fancy way of saying one website for your students to go to every day. You'll want something where you can direct your students that host your lessons, lets them view the links that you shared with them, and allows you to post videos. It's basically a time management tool. You don't want to spend a lot of time writing down websites, having students question how to get to that website, telling you that the website didn't work and only to realize that it was because they typed it in wrong, or any other number of things. When you have a centralized repository, it's a lot easier because your students know to go to one direct website, and then from there you'll post all of your videos, lessons, and assignments. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the options that are available to you. The first one is a blog. You can create a blog on Blogspot, WordPress, or any other number of blogging sites. They're typically free, and they're fairly easy to use and set up. They offer templates for you that you can utilize to integrate it so that your blog can have a visual nice appearance. And it really requires little maintenance on your part. All you have to do is post the blog and hit submit, and it does it for you automatically. I started off my classroom by using a blog, and I found it to be very useful. My students knew to go to the blog that I had set up for them, and everything that was needed for instruction was posted on that blog. However, there were some limitations to it. Of course, your username can be limited, so if someone has already taken up Mr. Villegas, then you have to come up with a different alternative, and sometimes that can create confusion because there was another Mr. Villegas out there, and students would go to his website and not mine. The second thing is that a blog is public access. Anyone on the internet can find your blog by doing a search or just stumbling across it. So you'll have to set up limitations on your blog to keep people from making comments that may be spam or may be inappropriate. And because of that, you're going to have limited interaction with your students. Basically, it's going to be you posting things and your students viewing it, but not really being able to respond to what you've posted. The second thing that I tried after using a blog was creating my own personal website. The cost varies for that depending on which service you use. Mine was $26 for a year, so it wasn't too expensive. Now, the advantage to that is that you have a customized website, so I was able to come up with mrvillegas.net, and my students need to go to that. And you do have a little bit more control over content and visual appearance. I was able to set up tabs for different subjects, and I was able to organize things in a different way so that there was a welcome page and students were directed to tabs for the subject that they were assigned to for that particular day. Now, of course, the disadvantage is that this is a yearly cost. And again, you have your public access where anyone can come across your website. You still have potential for spam. And again, it's one-way interaction. You're basically posting things on the internet, and your students are viewing them, or watching them, or clicking on the link, but they're not really responding to you. So the last option that I've used for the last 8 months has been Edmodo. Edmodo is a free service, and it's very easy to use. It offers multiple functionalities more than just posting. You're able to create assessments. You're able to create assignments for students. You can grade assignments online. It even has an online gradebook. But more importantly, it encourages collaboration and interaction with students. They can reply to your posts, they can include comments, they can reply to each other, and you can even make connections with other teachers in your district or across the world. The best thing about this is this is a private and secure network. So the only way that you can get access to your Edmodo page is if you provide an individual with the access code for that page. So people can't find it by searching for you on the internet. They can only participate in your discussions if they have the access code. The only disadvantage to Edmodo is that their terms of service indicate that your users must be 13 years old in order for them to use the service. Now, my school district was able to come up with an arrangement with Edmodo where they were able to actually allow users younger than the age of 13 to use Edmodo. And my district actually set up a subdomain for us for us to log into. So if you have any questions about it, I would check with your principal first. I know our students had to sign a waiver and like a permission form from their parents for them to use the internet services. So check with your principal or your district coordinator for technology, and they can give you more directives on that aspect of it. But I really strongly encourage you to use Edmodo because it really is a great tool and it offers a lot of great features. So like I mentioned, Edmodo is what I use, and these are the reasons why. It's easy to use, it's safe and secure, the district approved it, but more importantly, the students really enjoy using it. Think of it as a miniature version or a safer version of Facebook, but for students. So the next thing you're going to need is screencasting software. Now, a screencast is basically what you're watching right now. It is a recording of a computer screen, and it's a demonstration of either software, PowerPoint, an interactive lesson, but it's basically a video where you're narrating something and it's being recorded. The reason why you want to have this and why it's so important to the flipped classroom is because you want to reach your learners both audibly and visually. Just having them look at a PowerPoint may not be enough. Some learners may need to actually see the PowerPoint, flip to the PowerPoint, and then also hear you narrate the PowerPoint. So it is an important aspect of the flipped classroom. Now, there are a couple of options for screencasting software. I'm going to list them here. The first thing is Camtasia Studio. Now, it is very pricey. It's $179 to use that software. It creates professional-looking videos. You can edit the videos. You can do all sorts of things with it. But the biggest disadvantage to it is, of course, the cost. And, it's a huge amount of money to pay for software. And unless you have a grant or some kind of other resources, I really wouldn't recommend that, because if you're just starting off, and you're probably just going to be sharing videos with your students, not anybody else. It doesn't have to be like 100% Hollywood production perfect. There are other options available out there for you as well. The second option that I used for a little bit was Adobe Captivate. Now, Adobe has a service available to teachers where you can purchase a subscription for basically $30 a month, and you get access to Adobe Captivate, Photoshop, and Acrobat Creator. The Adobe Captivate version integrates with PowerPoint, and it allows you to enter assessments into your actual presentation. And so it does have some great functionality, but the disadvantage, of course, is the cost. You're spending $30 a month for a whole year. It is difficult to maneuver within Adobe Captivate, and there are some bugs with the recording software, so you don't always get a clean presentation with it. You do kind of have to really go through the tutorials and play with it for you to get a seamless transition with it. The next software is called EduCreations. It is a free app on the iTunes App Store. It's very easy to use. You can integrate photos, text, and drawings into your screencast. You can embed the videos to your blogs, your website, and you can also provide a direct link to the video. You can also set the videos to private view only so that only people that have the link can view the video and it won't be discoverable by other people. Now, the disadvantage to the software is that it does require the use of an iPad for seamless integration. You do have the functionality available on a desktop, but you won't get all of the features of it on the desktop. You're not able to display PowerPoint slides, so you can't use PowerPoint and education simultaneously. And if you're using the desktop version, you're not able to type in text. So although you can use this on your iPad, it does require a little bit more setup because you have to basically type in a whole bunch of slides and then go through and narrate them. So, it does have the same functionality of Screencast software. It works a little bit differently, but in a pinch, it'll do. The next app is Docery. It is a free app on the iTunes App Store. However, there is a $30 one-time fee to integrate computer control and get additional options, and I'll kind of cover those in a little bit. The advantages are that it creates professional-looking videos. You do have editing capabilities within the videos, and with the paid version, you can transform your computer into an interactive whiteboard and record what you're doing on the computer. So, for example, I could connect Docery to this computer, and then through my iPad, I could actually maneuver through the computer screen and control my computer. It allows you to upload videos to YouTube, and again, it's a really neat app because you can do a lot of different things with it. I could, with Docery, I could actually freeze my screen. I could draw on the PowerPoint using my iPad and then record as I'm doing that. Now, some of the advantages, you're not able to integrate PowerPoint without the paid version. So what that means is, if you have the free version, it won't connect to your computer and you can't display your PowerPoint. And then, of course, all of the videos will have a watermark on them. So you have to pay an additional $4.99 to get rid of that watermark. It's not a big deal. It'll say Docery at the bottom of it, or create with Docery. And then the last thing is Screencastmatic, which is what I'm using right now to record this screencast. It is a free service. You do have limitations on the free service, but you can upgrade to $15 per year for pro access. So some of the advantages are that it records quality videos that can be uploaded to YouTube. They can also be embedded to websites or linked to the Screencastmatic site. It also allows editing of your videos and recording over errors. So as you're recording something, you can pause your video, you can track back and then re-record it, and it'll actually record over your mistake. Now, the disadvantages are that the free version limits videos to 15 minutes or less, and the free version will include a watermark on your videos. So if you're not too picky about it, it's not a big deal, but some people that might be bothersome for them. So what I use is a Screencastmatic paid version. $15 a year is really not unreasonable for me. It creates professional-looking videos. I've used these videos in my grad school capstone project. I've used them for tutorials for a variety of things, and you can upload the videos to YouTube, or you can also embed them into your website, or link them directly to the Screencastmatic website. And then the professional version includes editing tools, so you can actually go through and edit the video before you publish it. And the last thing you're going to need is a microphone headset. You'll want a microphone headset to reduce background noise as you record your videos. Most laptops have a microphone built in, but what I found is that as you record through the laptop, there seems to kind of produce an echo, and it's hard to hear sometimes as you're narrating it. So you want to smooth even recording throughout your screencast, and it gives a professional feel to your recording. So using a headset, it's not, you don't have to use it, but I do recommend it. So now I want to show you how the flipped classroom concept works in my classroom. I have my students broken up into 4 rotations, and this is just a flipped classroom concept for my math station, or my math block rather. So basically, my students are in 20-minute rotations at each station, or they spend 20 minutes at each station, and there's 4 rotations in the block. I give them 2 minutes for transition time, and The computer station always includes the lesson that's going to be introduced. So basically, before the students come to me, they start off at the computer station. Once they've spent the 20 minutes at the computer station, then they come to my station for a one-on-one review, and we cover the material that was introduced, and we have guided practice. The independent practice station has material that's related to what was introduced or material that has already been covered. And then the last station is our TEACS practice and target the question, which is just basic spiraling review of concepts that they've learned throughout the year for knowledge and skills. So I have my students broken apart into 4 groups, and I place them in order of where their ability is. So my students that have demonstrated a high rate of achievability and or high ability in a concept, they'll start off with my station first. They don't get the background information because these are students that can actually get something pretty quickly. From there, they go to independent practice, and then TEACS practice, target the question, and then they end up in computer station. But every other student, before they come to me, they get the background knowledge of the concept of the computer station. Then they come to me for guided practice and additional material review. This works out really great because when the students come to me, they come to me with background knowledge and schema of what we're talking about. So, if I'm introducing factors or, adding with unlike denominators, they're not coming to me with a blank slate. They have some background information that I presented to them in the video. The other thing that I like about this is that when I work in small groups, usually my groups are no more than 6 to 8 students, I get to actually see where each student falls with the understanding of the concept. When you're doing whole group instruction, sometimes it's very easy to lose a student because they just kind of fall behind the cracks and they let someone else answer the question. But when you're working with your groups of 6 to 8 students, you actually can see where they're struggling, what they understand, what they don't understand, where they need practice, and you can give them more of that one-on-one guidance. Now, this is how it works in my classroom. Again, I'm a teacher in Texas, so we do things a little bit differently here. But this has worked really well for me this past school year because I'm giving more one-on-one attention to my students, and again, they're working at their level. So I'm grouping my students based on their level. So when they come to me, they have my undivided attention, and they're working really diligently with me for those 20 minutes. So that concludes my presentation on how to flip your classroom. I really do hope that you found this information effective, and I look forward to hearing your success stories with your flipped classroom.